I don't know. This doesn't seem to be as instructive or informative as as it did yesterday. I did a dry run of this yesterday just to see how it would work out, and it worked out really good. Yeah, see, let's reverse that move and try to get them back into this building here. Face them right down the street and hit deploy. Maybe we can get them back into position. But yeah, they weren't even particularly suppressed, so we're just gonna turn them right around and get them back out here. We can jump right into the house. Alright, that ammo bearer team quickly took a casualty and panicked. But they did get back into position temporarily. Now, for the purposes of this exercise, I just want to point out that all the guys are on they're on regular +0/+0. There's no bonuses anywhere. They're all just the basic basic guys. The gunner is currently deploying. The rest of the guys in the team are over here shooting out the window. Got a bunch of dudes right there. Alright, so as far as the exercise goes, basically the enemy has managed to get back into their position successfully. Well, sort of. But we did manage to leapfrog forward one jump while the enemy was absent from their position. Almost out of ammo. Alright, that smoke grenade should have burned out. Or it's going to burn out. Okay, he's medicing. I'm going to give them a face command just to keep them on their toes. I like how that guy has his rifle grenade out. They still can't see down the road because of the there's a thing? Okay, here's a thing. Technically they can't see that area. Now remember earlier when I ran a team straight across the road and they didn't get shot? Let's try that again. Now that's a 30-meter target. Hopefully they throw grenades. That would be interesting. I'd like to see if you can throw grenades from building to building. I'm just going to give target commands with everybody who can see anything. Because this is the critical moment here. He can't see anything, but hopefully that bazooka, once the smoke clears, the bazooka can see and he'll just fire a shot right into that building. Is there a minimum range on a bazooka? No, 175 is flat. Okay. So we'll see what happens, just for sake of it. These guys are still shaken, and they're not responding to orders. Okay, so I can't get them back in there. At least not yet. Maybe next turn. And these guys are busy doing their thing. And that's about it. So I'm going to skip over the Italian turn, and we're just going to look at things from here. Wow. That guy stood right in the middle of the street. Oh, he didn't make it. That looked like the gunner. Nope. It's just a rifleman. Okay, so once again we managed to eject the enemy from their position just by sheer mass of suppressive fire from submachine guns, in which case these guys are almost out of ammo. But he's got a full load of ammo for his... No, he doesn't. He's only got 30 rounds. He's got one magazine left. He's got a few. They got plenty of 30 cal for the BAR. That bazooka isn't needed anymore. I guess I'll just leave him there. Maybe they can medic. He's taking care of that guy. And he picked up his scoped rifle. That's cool. Alright, so since we pushed the enemy out of that position again, and there's absolutely no indication of enemy activity from this building anymore, this building, and I'm fairly certain there's nobody in this building or we would have seen them, or at least gotten a contact marker on them. You can kind of figure on making some type of assaulting movement. And that's going to be very simple. We're going to put him into there. He's also still got a little bit of Thompson's. He's got an explosive. He's got demo charges, and he's got hand grenades. We're going to put these guys with all the Thompsons in that building right there.
Cease your fire, soldier! Cease fire!
And we're going to have the BAR team just run down the street. These guys have finished. They still have a smoke? No, they don't. We'll make those two quick moves because we don't know if there's anybody in there still. But once you see enemy evacuate a position like that, especially after you've been suppressing the crap out of them like that, it's safe to assume that all of them have either left the position or they are all trying to leave the position. So it's fairly safe to run in and engage them at close quarters. But the real test is going to be if we get into this building right here. And for sake of opposition, I'm just going to have these guys attempt to get back into that building. This machine gun team is shaken. They're not responding to orders. They took a casualty and they evacuated their position. But this ammo bearer team has recovered from their shaken condition. They're now cautious again. I'm just going to... they did take one casualty, but I'm just going to try to get them back into that building. Yeah, should be simple enough. Just for sake of the exercise, we'll see what happens. Now, one thing I would advocate if you're advancing on a position the enemy seems to have withdrawn from is don't move directly into the position. Have one team stop in the action square right out in front, and you face them directly at the building, and they should look in the windows in the front. Oh, killed a guy, killed another guy. Alright, so we are now occupying the enemy position. And remember what the objective was at the very beginning. Well, that's weird. Why aren't they medicing up these two guys? I don't know. You remember what the objective was at the very beginning. The objective was rendering it safe to cross from this side of the street to the other without getting killed. And that necessitated potentially eliminating the enemy from the positions from which could see this part of the road. And as you can see, we've now done so. Now, I know we took a couple of casualties through stupidity, but I did play this again I don't understand why. I mean, I did move these guys in the action spot. And they're in the same position. I don't get why they're not medicing them up. Anyway, I mean, I did exactly the same maneuver yesterday. I was just trying this out just to see if it was feasible and whether or not I could actually teach a lesson from it. And I did manage to get from this end of the street all the way up to here and occupy the enemy positions. I killed all of the enemy troops while they were still either in this position or after they had attempted to come back and reoccupy them. And I only lost 3 guys making it down the street. And that was about when... Why do they have a target command? That's so random. Anyway, we're going to move these guys up there, those guys up there. We're going to have these guys move over here. And these guys move up here. We're just going to try to finish them off real quick. And the cool thing yesterday was I only engaged with the breach team and the mortar team and the scout team for like a combined total of 9 guys. Who the hell is shooting? Ah, they're shooting at him. Where did the ammo bearer team go? Are they dead? Oh yeah, they are. It's those vehicle crews right there.
Serve your water,
So yeah, as my guys move up, we can see the enemies that are dead.
Watch them eyes up.
There we go. He's finally working on him. Alright, let me shut that off. Okay, now, 4 men killed, 4 men wounded, but there's a total of 9 guys on the enemy team, armed with rifles and a heavy machine gun, facing down the road. And as you can see on the other side, we had 2 men killed and 1 wounded, mostly through stupidity, but I mean, yesterday I did a dry run of this, and I got exactly the same result. So this, I guess we could draw a few lessons from this. First of all, if you are going to be fighting in a street, or you're going to be crossing a street, the one thing you want to do before you do anything is put the camera down at eye level, zoom it in, look around on the street, find any potential position that the enemy could fire at you from or could interdict your movement, and then have a plan in mind to either neutralize those positions through establishing an overwatching position, or simply advance on and secure those positions before you move anything else. Because, for example, I mean, yeah, I've just got a bunch of weapons teams here, but what if I had an entire battalion who's moving up this way, and their job was to get across the street and then on into this other part of the town? You can't move a large block of troops past potentially occupied enemy positions. You gotta neutralize them first. So having a plan to do that definitely works out in your favor, and also using successive waves of they set the gun up again. Having successive waves of smoke grenades to conceal and advance, a kind of leapfrog advance down a street, is one of my favorite tactics to use when you're fighting in a street. Because the boundaries of this exercise here was just the street itself. My whole objective was to start here and advance all the way down to this end of the street without losing all my guys. And it worked out perfectly. But one thing you do need to note is, before attempting anything like this, you need to take note of what teams you have that are equipped with smoke grenades, how many teams you can split off with smoke grenades and things like that. If you are commanding regular infantry, split assault teams off of your squads. That'll give you teams with your submachine gun, any other light weapons you have, a whole bunch of hand grenades, and also the smoke grenade. So when you get into a close quarters situation like this, you can easily out-firepower the enemy. Because if you notice, that heavy machine gun was not really a match for even just a couple of Thompson submachine guns. Easily lays out a lot more fire than that heavy machine gun could manage. And the teams rapidly became suppressed and were forced to evacuate their position. Because if the enemy cannot, when you have that initial engagement, like I had the 2 guys with submachine guns upstairs, and I had a guy with a BAR downstairs, all of that automatic firepower heading towards this window right here was more than this team could deal with. And even if they did return fire, they would have returned fire against one team, but they wouldn't have been able to suppress both teams simultaneously. Not without, like, if a player was running them and they used an area target on the building, then maybe. But that's one thing to note, is use smoke grenades to cover your advance. Use as many automatic weapons as you can at the very spearhead of your movement. And also use multiple floors wherever possible in order to overwhelm the enemy with targets, so they cannot return fire effectively and suppress you. And if you use those simple maxims, also if you get a chance, bazookas against buildings work beautifully. I didn't really get a chance to demonstrate that, but hey, it's some other time maybe. Bazookas and rifle grenades do work rather well against buildings, except these kind of heavy stone buildings. You saw how easily these buildings deflected 45 caliber fire from the Thompsons, and even the BAR had some trouble getting through the wall there. But if this 30 cal had gotten up and running, he would have made it through them walls no problem. Especially the water cooled 30 cal, which has a higher cyclic rate of fire, can maintain that cyclic rate of fire for a longer period, and can easily kind of chew its way through a wall like this without too much difficulty. So yeah, I guess that'll do it for today. Appendix A, very first day, page 1, chapter 1, basics of street fighting is, I guess that'll do it. Anyway, I'm not gonna ramble anymore. I want to move on and do some other things. So I guess I'll talk to you all some other time. Okay, bye.